I'm here to share my tribute to my friend Chris. This video is important to me because I want to honor the impact he had on my life and share the memories that we had together. Chris was an extraordinary person, and his story deserves to be told. Chris was born July 27th, 2005 here in Salina, Kansas. He grew up here and he spent most of his life here. He graduated from high school in May of 2023. I first met Chris in middle school through one of my best friends. And even though at the time we weren't particularly close, one memory from back then stands out perfectly, and it encapsulates our friendship perfectly. Chris loved to talk smack to me, would always talk shit, always be running his mouth. And one day he told me that I couldn't touch him and I couldn't do anything to him. So my response was to grab him by his arm and swing him around a few times and then drop him on the ground. At the time, we both laughed it off and we thought it was pretty funny. But a few years later, once we got closer, he told me that when that happened, it knocked the wind out of him. It really pissed him off for a long time and he never said anything. Once we grew close, he told me that it was hilarious and that he low-key deserved it. It showed the way we would banter and our exaggeration to each other, and it was a perfect encapsulation of our friendship. Throughout the years in middle school, we weren't particularly close, but our relationship started to grow stronger in middle school. I remember us having our big friend group, talking in the mornings, bullshitting, laughing. It's honestly one of the best parts of my life. One of my favorite parts of my life. I grew closer with some of my other friends. I also grew closer with Chris. We would start to talk more in school, start to bullshit more. We would just grow closer. Some of my best memories with Chris is when he would come over to my house and we would have late night game nights where he would bring his Xbox over and we would try to stay up the whole night playing video games. I remember we played, I think it was Cooking Frenzy, and we played it almost all night. We sat there grinded trying to get it down to a T. And it's one of the most fun I've ever had on video games. I'm not a big game person. I remember that being like super fun. And we would cuss each other out for fucking up, high five each other after we would get 3 stars on the match. Like it was really fun. He was a car person. He knew everything, and I mean everything about cars. He could tell you the model, the specs, and even how to fix them. Like he knew everything. Me on the other hand, I don't know shit about cars. I don't give a fuck. As long as it gets me from point A to point B, that's all that matters to me. So I remember one day I needed to change the brakes on my car and I didn't know what to do. And I was nervous to work on my car for the first time. And I remember him being more than happy to walk me through fixing my car. So that day after school, he came over to my house, brought all of his tools over, let me use all of his tools, and walked me through how to fix my brake pads. I'll never forget the confidence that gave me to have somebody there helping me through something that I had no clue about. And he didn't charge me anything. That just shows the side of Chris that he's willing to help others, even though he can be sarcastic and exaggeratory and hyperbolic, that he still has a side to him where he can stop and help people out that need it. And to me, that was invaluable. Being able to sit there and ask him for help when I didn't know what to do. And speaking of me not knowing anything about cars, I remember playing Forza Horizon with him, and I would do the stock default car options. Like I would do the default upgrades, default cars and everything, and he would sit there and he likes to fucking custom spec his cars out, custom tune it, custom everything, and he would smoke every single person he would race against, including me. He would smoke me. And even though I was getting my ass whooped, I'd always talk shit on him, always act like I was competing, but I was literally getting smoked the whole time. And I remember being able to go to him and asking him to fucking customize my cars for me because I didn't know shit. I didn't know anything. At all the school dances, would hang out with me anytime we didn't want to be on the dance floor. We both fucking hated the dances. Of course, our girlfriends drug us along, so we were there without choice. And anybody that knew Chris knew that he always 100% without a doubt had an energy drink on him. Everybody would tell him he was addicted, and he'd always make the joke, I can quit when I want to, but he never did and he never could. Always had a monster on him. And I remember him playing Getting Over It, raging in my fucking bedroom. He said, everything's fine, I have an energy drink.
Final moments taken before disaster.
I've got an energy drink. It'll be fine.
And yeah, I would laugh my ass off at him raging. He would rage on the game so hard, and it was like 2, 3 a.m. My mom had to work the next day, and I remember him getting so mad. He started like beating the desk or whatever, and he started screaming.
You fuck!
And my mom fucking flies into the room. You guys need to shut the fuck up. I gotta work tomorrow. And it showed his respect for his elders and the people older than him, because he was like, my apologies, like, I'll stop. And he did. After that point, after he realized he fucked up, he stopped. But one of the last memories I have of him before he moved to Florida was that he decided that he was going to DJ for my mom at her birthday, at her 40th birthday. It was just funny. You can see in the pictures that he was having a blast. I was dressed in a mini skirt, or a skirt and a crop top, and he was fucking laughing, having the time of his life. And it's nice to now look back and like see how much he was enjoying himself and how involved he was, because now that means a lot. October of last year, Chris decided that it was time to start his new life and move down to Florida with his girlfriend. I remember him telling me how disappointed he was that he couldn't come to my birthday, because my birthday is October 28th, and he told me that he felt so bad, but he was ready to move. And I understood. And from that point on, he would do everything from messaging me, commenting on my YouTube, and playing games with us. And I took it for granted, because I don't like virtual relationships. I've never have. So I would ignore his phone calls, minimally respond to his text messages, and I would sarcastically respond to his YouTube comments. And now my biggest regret is not picking up the phone more and not texting him more. But it's good that I have that lesson in my life now. That way I can show my friends now that I care about them. And I can take this opportunity to show Chris that he was important to me now that he's gone, before he's put in the ground. Last Friday, July 26th, the day before his 19th birthday, his life was tragically cut short in a hit-and-run accident in Florida. His girlfriend was waiting for him to come home that night, and he never showed up back home, and that was unlike him. So she started posting that he hadn't come home that night, and nobody knew where he was at. And once news got to Kansas that he hadn't come home, the next day his family had called the police department to file that he was missing, and that's when they told him that he had passed away in the car accident the night before. And that's when we ultimately found out that our friend had passed away. Chris had been killed in a hit-and-run accident from the rapper Youngin, which I hadn't heard of until this point. A traffic stop was conducted on him. He stopped. The police officer got out to conduct the traffic stop, and he fled. He took off. The cop got back into his patrol car, turned the lights off, dropped the pursuit. But the rapper decided to continue fleeing, going over double the speed limit in a residential, which ultimately led to my friend getting killed. And my friend did not deserve that. And it hurts to see my friend be a no-name victim to a rapper and their accident. And nobody's taken the time to find out who was affected by this. And that's why I'm making this video, to show that this impacted people. Real people, not just some wannabe rapper, not just some news story. That this was a real kid that lost his life. The rapper had previously fled from the police before. He didn't have a license, and he had a warrant out for his arrest. The stars aligned the right way that night, and that's what led to my friend getting struck and killed. I can't get the image out of my head of the car that my friend had just been so excited to show me about less than 2 months ago. I can't get the image out of my head of what that looks like after the accident. And he was so proud, and he worked so hard to get that. And to imagine that my friend was in there. To me, Chris was more than a friend. He was like a younger brother, annoying me, bothering me, but always caring for me, having love for me, looking up to me, and I care and love about him the same way. I'll never forget the memories, our playful banter, our shit talking, but also his love and support for me, and that'll always have a special place in my heart, and I'll never forget him for that. His impact on me was more than just shit talking and laughter, But it was like losing my brother. And Chris's impact on me, it's made me realize that I need to take initiative and reach out and talk to people more and let them know that I care about them more. Because my biggest regret right now is not talking to him after he moved to Florida as much as I did when he lived here in Kansas. And now I can't get that back. And that hurts. That hurts a lot. I hope you're resting easy now, Chris. You'll be forever in my heart. I hope you feel loved and cared about. That's what I want from all of this.